All right, welcome to the first official Q&A video on the Sully Streams YouTube channel. Last week, I put out the bat signal to you guys to just send me any questions you had, whether they be movie-related or non-movie related, that you wanted me to answer. Like, you guys definitely delivered on that front. I was perusing some of the questions earlier. There are some heavy hitters in there, so I'm definitely excited to kind of attack those and answer all of them for you. Just to give you a reason as to why I'm making this type of video right now, I've been on YouTube for almost 4 years now, making countless movie reviews, movie rankings, and everything else in between. All of that content is super scripted, if you couldn't tell. I'm sure that you can. So very rarely do I get the chance to just go off the cuff, chopping it up with you guys, and I just feel like this is a good way for you guys to get to know me as we continue to build this community brick by brick. Just in case this is the first video of mine that you've ever seen, I'll give you a couple of facts about myself before we just dive head first into all of these questions. My name is John Sullivan. I'm 31 years old. I went to school up in Vermont, and my wife's family still has a farm up there, so I love doing stuff outside. I'm a massive sports fan, and above all else, I love watching and discussing movies. That's all there is to know. All right, starting with the YouTube side of the house, the first question over there is favorite working and not working director. So my favorite working director has been the same for a while. I don't see it changing anytime soon. It's David Fincher. Absolutely love movies like Fight Club, The Social Network, Seven, Zodiac, all absolute bangers. Kind of wish the guy would stop working with Netflix so much, but that's neither here nor there. When it comes to not working director, I'm assuming that means someone who's no longer with us. I'm going with Tony Scott. The guy is super underrated when it comes to his 90s action movies. True Romance is one of my favorite films of all time. It's always been in my Letterboxd top 4. I'm going with Tony Scott there. It's a cold, wintry day outside. You have a hot chocolate in your hand and nowhere to be. What movie are you putting on? Awesome question. I'm going to give you 2 different avenues here, all right? Very different paths to choose. First, I have to go with The Thing from John Carpenter. Best horror movie of all time for my money. I don't think you can get much colder and more wintry than those visuals that are in that film. So I think that has to be my choice for, winter day, locked in, snowstorm, nowhere to be. But if I want to put on a movie that won't make my family hate me and never let me pick a film ever again, I'm going to go with Klaus. I think it's a great animated Christmas movie. My favorite Christmas movie of all time. Has a warm, cozy feeling, gets you very emotional. So 2 very different films. Wouldn't ever recommend double featuring those 2, but those are my picks. What's your favorite movie scene of all time? I mean, okay, that's basically an impossible question to answer, right? But we'll give it a go here. Favorite movie scene? I'm going to go with the opening scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think that's such a perfect introduction to a legendary movie character. It's almost a silent introduction of Indiana Jones. There's barely any dialogue used. Spielberg uses the ultimate kind of example of show not tell in that. You learn so much about this guy without him really having to go out and tell you. And then he goes through that trial to get the golden idol. It's cinematic perfection. I absolutely love it. And that's also my favorite movie of all time. Do you think physical media will ever have a comeback like vinyl records did? Short answer there is no, unfortunately. As much as I wish everyone was going to be running out and buying physical media, I think film fans like myself and you who probably asked the question are heavily in the minority there. I buy a pretty even split. I have a good amount of vinyl records upstairs. I have a good amount of physical media over there underneath my television. We're definitely in the minority there. I don't see it getting more popular than it is right now, as much as it pains me to say, because I love all of those 4K steelbooks and special editions and commentaries. I mean, we have been missing out on special features on physical media for so long. The budgets have been getting cheaper and cheaper to produce those. So I would love to see people coming out of the woodwork to go out and buy their favorite movies again on physical media. I don't think it's going to happen. I hope to God that I'm wrong, though. Can you think of one scene in a movie you would add or remove that would improve it? I mean, that is objectively an awesome question, right? But that's going to take some serious brain power. I don't think I have one right off the top of the dome here for you. Tell you what, I'll do one aspect that I think getting removed from a movie would really improve it. I am not a long legs guy. I was someone that was disappointed by it. I think me and Oz Perkins just don't really see eye to eye a lot of the time. I'm not usually on his wavelength, unfortunately. A lot of other people seem to like his work. That's great, but it's just not really for me. I think you gotta remove all that supernatural doll stuff out of long legs. I just feel like when you try to explain what's going on behind the actions of this nefarious and satanic guy, whatever you conjure up in your head is almost always going to be better than what they put down on the page and on the screen in front of you a lot of the time. I was looking for some kind of like more grounded Silence of the Lambs type thing, and that is not what we ended up getting. So I'm going to go with the satanic doll aspect of Longlegs. Sorry, Oz. Are you not into film festivals? It would be nice to see you covering one someday and somewhere. Well, I appreciate that you'd even want to see me do that. That feels good, but it's definitely not that I'm uninterested in film festivals. There's a couple that I've always wanted to attend, but stuff always just gets in the way with my schedule. I always want to do Fantastic Fest down in Texas with the Alamo one. I think that one looks awesome, and it's definitely right up my alley since it's kind of more of a genre horror sci-fi one. October 1st is my birthday, so it's kind of always right around that area when it's either my birthday, there are fall weddings that I'm attending, so I've just never really been able to make it happen. I would love to at some point, so it's not from a feeling of not being interested. I think that would be awesome, and it would be a great opportunity to kind of meet up with like-minded creators. I know a lot of them go there, so I would love to go. Don't know really realistically when that's ever going to happen, but it's on the bucket list. Favorite Damien Chazelle movie and favorite movie of the 2020s? Well, when it comes to Damien Chazelle, it is easily Whiplash for me. That's almost a perfect movie. When it comes to my favorite movie of the 2020s so far, I'm going with Another Round with Mads Mikkelsen. Awesome Danish movie. I wish it won all the Oscars that year. Watch that one if you haven't yet. Do you feel there is too much negative content in movies? I don't think that there's been more negative content in movies nowadays than there has been in the last 10 to 15 years. I think maybe just in a more general sense, film discourse has gotten more negative as a whole, especially with the popularity and rise of social media. Film Twitter can be a brutal place to spend any time in, which is why I try to not do it very often. How do you approach critiquing a movie that is from a culture that you're not a part of? Wow, I think that's a super interesting question. There are definitely tons of movies out there that aren't created with my initial perspective or lens in mind, right? So I've never been someone that shied away from doing the necessary homework to kind of figure out how to better approach a film and make it more digestible for myself. But on the other side of the coin, I definitely think it's a two-way street. I think a movie that's going to do that and knows it's going to be from a perspective that not a lot of people are going to share or the majority of the audience is going to share. I think it's on the movie a little bit to put in the legwork to make you experience what it wants you to experience and put you in the shoes properly to make you feel the way that it would make the primary or intended audience feel. So like I said, I just think it's a two-way street. I'm more than happy to do the homework and background information to just figure out how to best attack a film, but I also think there's a little help from the creators as well. When will you watch the Bad Boys series? And would you consider any few Michael Bay films to be not headache-inducing or cringeworthy, or are they all? Very specific question there. I don't know when I'm going to watch the Bad Boys series. I have not seen a single one of those movies, unfortunately. I think I missed my shot with the last one coming out. So if they make, a Bad Boys 5, maybe I'll have to hop on the bandwagon and just binge all of them. Maybe I'll do a little ranking or something like that. But yeah, until that happens, it's not very high up on my list. When it comes to if Michael Bay movies are all headache-inducing and cringeworthy, I think a lot of them are, but that's kind of his charm, right? I think Pain and Gain is one of the most underrated movies of all time, at least of the century. I think that's an awesome film and doesn't get enough credit. Might even be my favorite Michael Bay movie that he's ever made. It's got tons of comedy, action. It's super pulpy, cheesy, doesn't take itself too seriously, for better or worse, because it's kind of based on a ridiculous tragedy, but that's Michael Bay for you. But yeah, not sure when I'm going to watch those Bad Boy movies, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Who is the most underrated and overrated director of all time? Well, for underrated, I got to shout out my boy once again, Tony Scott. Love a lot of his movies. I think when he has a great script in front of him, the sky is pretty much the limit. You look at movies like Top Gun, The Last Boy Scout, Days of Thunder, True Romance, which is a masterpiece. The guy just had heater after heater. Love his movies. He was really speaking my cinematic language, I feel like. When it comes to overrated, all time might be a little bit harsh, but I'm going to stick with Oz Perkins. I really just don't vibe with his work. I think he really needs some reining in when it comes to the script and the story. Guy can do some really cool kill sequences and visuals. Other than that, not for me. Are you a Celtics fan and a Patriots fan? I am a massive Patriots fan. I absolutely love football, but the Patriots especially, of course, just being from Boston. Grew up super spoiled with Tom Brady and all of those championships, and now I think my boy Drake May is about to light this league on fire. The rich get richer, baby. When it comes to the Celtics, I don't know if I'd call myself a massive Celtics fan. I'm just not an NBA guy in general. You know, I might go an entire year without even watching a single NBA game, so not really a big fan there. All the other major Boston sports, huge fan of, though. All right, we're moving over to the Instagram side of things. So let's see what you guys have cooking for me over there. First question on that page is, what was your first movie theater experience at a young age? First movie theater experience, I think, was probably Toy Story 2 in the theaters. Great movie to kick it off on, obviously. One of the best animated movies and super ahead of its time. So yeah, I think it was Toy Story 2. Do you watch movies with one eye or two? Well, I think if you ask some of the people that comment on my videos, they would probably tell you neither, but I try my very best to watch every single movie with both eyes. Great question. Do you plan to get involved in a movie production in the future, or have you ever been in the past? Nothing official as of right now. You know, I minored in film at college and did a lot of script writing and stuff of that nature. So if I was going to be involved in something in an official capacity, it would probably be in the writing area. I also think that's the easiest way to kind of break into any kind of movie related business while not having to actually uproot my life and move. So, you know, not against it. In the future, I always write stuff. I'm always kind of scribbling some notes, movie ideas, characters, dialogue. So short answer is no. And to the first part, and the second part, hopefully, maybe sometime in the future. Favorite found footage movie. So I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty old school when it comes to that subgenre of horror movie. I'm going to go with The Blair Witch Project, and I'm going to go with Wreck. I think both of those really use their low budget feel to their benefit, making things feel more messy and raw. You know, use a lot of cool little camera tricks to kind of make you feel like you're watching an actual found footage account of these terrible things happening to these main characters. So those are definitely my two picks. If you somehow have not seen both of those, I'm going to assume that you have, make sure you give them a watch. What movie, once you finished it, left you emotionally wrecked in the theater? I'm going to give you two picks. The two that immediately jump to the front of my mind would be Prisoners from Denis Villeneuve and Godzilla Minus One. I think both of those, more than anything, just left me emotionally exhausted. Both awesome movies. You know, I wouldn't say the most rewatchable movies because there's some haunting imagery and subtext in there. But yeah, Prisoners, Godzilla Minus One, I think those are the last two that really kind of left me gasping for breath at the end of the theater experience. Tell us your process on being an extra in some movies. Well, I'm thinking back on it. I might have only done it one time, maybe twice, but only one of the experiences is coming to mind right now. It was for that action comedy movie, Central Intelligence, with Kevin Hart and The Rock. You know, that absolute classic that everybody's seen. All of the filming was done for that in Boston, I think. So I was an extra in that opening gymnasium segment. Kevin Hart had to pretend like he was high school age, and he had his high school love interest there and everything. I was way up in the rafters in the back. You couldn't really see me unless you paused the movie, and I got right up to the TV screen and pointed myself out. But at one point, when they were kind of doing a close-up of the female love interest, the director like singled me out from up top and was like, hey, come closer here and get in this shot. And I was like, oh my God, this is my big break, baby. Told everybody from my family about it. We went to go see it opening night. They cut that part out. So absolutely gut-wrenching, heartbreaking experience, but that's showbiz, baby. Do you have a system to rank your movies, such as IMDb rating plus box office numbers? So I grew up as a massive IMDb guy. I loved it. I was logging everything, movies, shows, whatever. I was logging it on my account. A few years back, I think I made the full transition over to Letterboxd. I just think it's more user-friendly. It's more accessible to casual film fans. And so, you know, I imported all of my data over from IMDb to Letterboxd, and now I'm super active on that platform. If you want to check out my little mini reviews and rankings and stuff that's not on YouTube, I think my username is still just Sully Streams over there. So definitely mostly use Letterboxd now. I just think it's a more fun and easy-to-use platform. Will you be reviewing the Eras Tour movie? All right, well, I'm not going to lie. Not a huge fan of Mrs. Swift's work myself, even though I can admit that I think she's an incredible businesswoman. So just in honor of keeping all the Swifties that may or may not be lurking around my channel happy, I'm going to plead the fifth on that one. What is your perfect film trilogy? Well, I feel like I could get a little cute with this answer and say the first three Indiana Jones movies. First film, absolute perfection. Third film is incredible. That second movie, Temple of Doom, it's still really good. I just just don't think it reaches the absolute heights of the first and third entry. So, I mean, boring, obvious answer. I gotta go with Lord of the Rings here. You know, just 3 perfect films from beginning to end, any way you look at it. In college, once a year, I actually just sat down with my buddies and would watch all 3 extended editions back to back to back in one single day. Absolute gauntlet, but worth every second. So it just has to be those Lord of the Rings movies. And that is that, baby. We are officially closing the book on the first Sully Streams Q&A video. I had a lot of fun answering these questions. Hopefully you're going to enjoy my answers. If you do, I'll definitely do more of this type of content in the future. In the meantime, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys at the next one.